So there you were, probably mid-bite into your third buffalo wing, when Bad Bunny took the Super Bowl LIX halftime stage and decided to turn Levi Stadium into something nobody saw coming. What was supposed to be a standard 12-minute halftime performance transformed into a full-scale Puerto Rican celebration that had everyone's jaw on the floor. And just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, Lady Gaga appeared out of nowhere like she was summoned by the music gods themselves. Here's the thing, Bad Bunny headlining the Super Bowl halftime show was already historic. He's the biggest Latin artist on the planet, regularly breaking streaming records and selling out stadiums worldwide. But he predominantly sings in Spanish. The NFL choosing him was a bold move, the kind that makes you wonder, wait, are they actually ready for this, or are they about to fumble the bag spectacularly? Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara got completely transformed into what people are calling a Puerto Rican oasis. We're talking full cultural immersion, the kind of production design that doesn't happen by accident. This was planned, intentional, and loaded with meaning from the jump. But nobody could have predicted what was about to happen next. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. Just when the performance seemed like it had reached peak energy, Bad Bunny started bringing out guests. Not just any guests, we're talking about a lineup that read like someone's fever dream of Latin excellence and Hollywood royalty all rolled into one impossible moment. Lady Gaga strutted onto that stage, and the crowd lost whatever chill they had left. Then Ricky Martin appeared, bringing that legendary energy that's been captivating audiences for decades. Cardi B showed up, Karol G blessed the stage, and then Pedro Pascal and Jessica Alba were spotted in the mix of celebrities celebrating this moment. Let that sink in for a second. Pedro Pascal, Hollywood's current internet daddy and star of The Last of Us and The Mandalorian, was there. Jessica Alba, successful actress and businesswoman, was there. This wasn't just a musical performance anymore. This was a full-scale demonstration of Latin influence across every corner of entertainment. If you're sitting here thinking, wait, how did they pull all this together, and you haven't subscribed yet, now's the moment. Hit that button because we're about to break down what was really happening on that stage. Now, Lady Gaga showing up deserves its own analysis because this woman does nothing halfway. She's performed at the Super Bowl before. Her 2017 halftime show was still talked about as one of the greatest of all time. So her appearing during Bad Bunny's set wasn't just a cameo, it was a cosign. It was a passing of the torch moment, wrapped in a collaboration that nobody knew they needed. But here's where it gets suspicious. Lady Gaga and Bad Bunny don't have an obvious musical connection. They move in different circles, make different kinds of music, serve different audiences. So why was she there? What made her say yes to this specific moment? The answer is bigger than music, and that's what makes this whole thing so significant. After bringing out what felt like half of Hollywood's Latin elite and music royalty, Bad Bunny closed his performance with 4 words that hit harder than any lyric he sang all night. Together, we are America. Pause. Rewind. Let that statement breathe for a minute. This wasn't just a feel-good catchphrase thrown out for applause. This was a deliberate, calculated statement made on one of the biggest stages in the world to one of the largest audiences in American television history. Bad Bunny, a Puerto Rican artist who sings primarily in Spanish, just claimed American identity for himself and everyone he represents, and he did it in a way that couldn't be ignored or dismissed. Here's where the story takes a turn that's both brilliant and slightly unsettling. The entire performance was designed to make a point that went way beyond entertainment. Every choice, from the guests to the staging to that final message, was strategic. Bad Bunny didn't just want to perform, he wanted it impossible for anyone watching to deny the Latin influence on American culture. He brought out Lady Gaga, pop royalty, Ricky Martin, Latin music legend, Cardi B, hip-hop superstar with Dominican and Trinidadian roots, Karol G, Colombian reggaeton queen, Pedro Pascal, Chilean-American actor, and Jessica Alba, Mexican-American actress and entrepreneur. The message was clear: Latin culture is American culture. It's not separate, it's not other, it's woven into the fabric of what makes America, well, America. Most Super Bowl halftime shows are about spectacle and nostalgia. They bring out legacy acts, hit all the familiar songs, maybe throw in a surprise guest or two and call it a day. Safe, predictable, entertaining, but ultimately forgettable. Bad Bunny's performance rejected that entire formula. Instead of playing it safe, he went full throttle into cultural celebration. Instead of catering to mainstream American audiences who might not know his music, he said, "This is who I am, this is where I'm from, and you're going to respect it." And the wildest part? It worked. The performance is already being called one of the most important halftime shows in Super Bowl history, and we're only hours removed from it happening. Now, here's where we need to talk about context, because nothing happens in a vacuum, especially at the Super Bowl. This performance is happening at a time when conversations about immigration, identity, and what it means to be American are more heated than ever. Bad Bunny choosing this moment to make such a bold statement about Latin identity and American belonging wasn't accidental. The NFL approving this performance, knowing full well what message would be sent, wasn't accidental either. Someone, somewhere, made the decision that this was the right time for this specific message. The question is, why? What shifted that made the powers that be comfortable with such an explicitly cultural and potentially controversial performance? And what does it say about where we are as a country that celebrating Latin excellence still feels like a revolutionary thing? Let's break down why each of those guests mattered beyond just their star power. Lady Gaga represents mainstream pop acceptance and legitimacy. Ricky Martin, the bridge between generations of Latin music leaders. Cardi B, hip-hop's abrasive Latin influence. Karol G, the current generation of Latin music dominance. Pedro Pascal, Hollywood's Latin leading man moment. Jessica Alba, Latin success in business and entertainment. Each person represented a different facet of Latin excellence in American culture. Together, they painted a picture of complete integration and undeniable influence across every industry that matters. This wasn't random. This was a carefully curated demonstration of power. Here's the truth that's hard to swallow. The fact that this performance feels groundbreaking and necessary in 2026 shows how far we still have to go. Latin people have been part of American culture since before the United States was even a country. Puerto Rico has been a U.S. territory for over 125 years, and yet having a primarily Spanish-language halftime show with the message, "Together we are America," still feels like a bold statement rather than an obvious fact. That's the uncomfortable twist. We're celebrating something that should have been normalized decades ago. Bad Bunny's performance will be analyzed, debated, praised, and criticized for weeks, maybe months. Some people will call it the greatest halftime show ever. Others will complain about not understanding the lyrics or question whether it was appropriate for the Super Bowl. But none of that changes what happened on that stage. Bad Bunny, with help from some of the biggest names in entertainment, made a statement that can't be walked back or ignored. He claimed space, demanded recognition, and celebrated his culture on the biggest platform possible, and he did it without apology or compromise. The most significant part of this entire performance wasn't the spectacle or the surprise guests, it was the normalcy of it all. Bad Bunny performed like he belonged there, because he does belong there. He didn't code switch, didn't water down his music, didn't try to be anything other than authentically himself. That's the real message. Latin artists don't need to change to fit American stages. American stages need to expand to include them as they are. So, what did we just witness? A halftime show? A cultural moment? A political statement? Honestly, it was all three wrapped into 12 minutes of music, celebration, and unapologetic identity. Bad Bunny turned the Super Bowl halftime show into a Puerto Rican celebration, brought out an impossible lineup of guests, and closed with a message that challenged everyone watching to rethink what American actually means. What do you think? Was this the best halftime show ever, or is the hype overblown? Should the Super Bowl continue taking risks like this, or should they play it safe? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. And if you made it this far without subscribing, fix that immediately. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, turn on notifications. We're breaking down the cultural moments that matter with the depth and honesty they deserve. Bad Bunny said, "Together we are America," and whether you agree or not, that conversation is just getting started.